Al Capone, the king of Chicago. In the roaring 20s, when jazz filled the air and prohibition turned liquor into gold, one name echoed through the streets of Chicago: Alphonse "Scarface" Capone. To many, he was a businessman, a provider of forbidden pleasures. But behind the tailored suits and the diamond rings stood a man who ruled with iron fists and blazing guns. Capone's empire was built on bootlegging, gambling, and racketeering, but also on fear. His men carried the iconic Thompson submachine gun, better known as the Tommy gun. This weapon, with its circular drum magazine, became the very sound of the Chicago underworld, a thunderstorm of bullets in dark alleys and smoky bars. The Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929 forever cemented Capone's legend. Rival gangsters cut down in a hail of Tommy gun fire, leaving the world in shock. Al Capone didn't pull the trigger himself, but everyone knew whose shadow loomed behind the blood. And yet, it wasn't bullets that brought him down. It was taxes. 11 years in prison ended the reign of Scarface, but the echo of his Tommy gun still rattles in the memory of American crime. The Colt 1911.45 ACP pistol was more than just a weapon for Al Capone. It was his trusted companion. Designed by John Browning and adopted by the U.S. military in 1911, this semi-automatic pistol quickly became one of the most iconic handguns in history. Known for its stopping power and reliability, the Colt 1911 fired the powerful .45 ACP automatic Colt pistol cartridge, capable of incapacitating an enemy with a single shot. Capone's personal model was a customized Colt 1911, which he nicknamed his Sweetheart. Unlike the heavy Thompson submachine guns his men carried in gang wars, this pistol was small enough to conceal under a tailored suit, yet powerful enough to give him confidence in any confrontation. With an 8-round magazine and a proven track record in World War I, the Colt 1911 symbolized authority, precision, and deadly efficiency. For Capone, it was not just the tool of survival, but a status symbol, a reminder that he was always armed, always ready, and always one step ahead of his enemies. Today, this legendary pistol survives as a piece of history. Capone's personal Colt 1911, engraved and preserved, is displayed in the Mob Museum in Las Vegas, connecting visitors directly to the violent past of Prohibition-era Chicago. The Thompson submachine gun, often called the Tommy gun, is one of the most iconic firearms of the 20th century. Designed by General John T. Thompson in 1918, it was originally intended for military use at the end of World War I. However, production came too late for the war, and the weapon quickly found another home: the streets of America during Prohibition. Chambered in .45 ACP, the same powerful cartridge used in the Colt 1911 pistol, the Tommy gun combined compact size with devastating firepower. Capable of firing up to 800 rounds per minute, it was fitted with either a 20-30-round stick magazine or a 50 to 100-round drum magazine, which gave it an unmistakable look. For Al Capone's Chicago outfit, the Thompson became the ultimate weapon of intimidation. Unlike small pistols that were used for personal defense, the Tommy gun was a tool of gang warfare. It was the centerpiece of the infamous St. Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929, when Capone's men, disguised as policemen, lined up 7 members of the rival North Side gang and gunned them down. The brutality of that crime cemented the Tommy gun's reputation as the Chicago typewriter, a machine that wrote its message in bullets.
Although originally marketed to law enforcement and even civilians, the weapon became so associated with gangsters that it pushed lawmakers to strengthen gun control laws in the 1930s. Ironically, the Tommy gun was later adopted officially by the U.S. Army in World War II, where it earned respect as a battlefield weapon. For Capone's era, however, the Thompson was not just a firearm, it was a symbol of raw power, fear, and the bloody struggle for control of Chicago's underworld.
The Colt Model 1908 Pocket Hammerless was one of the most elegant and practical handguns of its time. Designed by John Browning and produced by Colt's Manufacturing Company, this pistol became a popular choice among law enforcement, military officers, and influential figures of the early 20th century. Despite the name hammerless, the gun did have a hammer, but it was concealed within the frame, making the weapon smoother, snag-free, and easier to draw quickly from a pocket or holster. Chambered in .380 ACP automatic Colt pistol, it offered a balance of stopping power and compact design. For Al Capone, this pistol was the perfect concealed weapon. Unlike the bulky Thompson submachine gun, the Colt 1908 was discreet, fitting easily inside his tailored suit. It allowed him to move in public without attracting attention, while still carrying a reliable sidearm for personal protection. The Colt 1908 had a 7-round magazine, a sleek grip, and was favored by politicians, businessmen, and even U.S. generals. President Franklin D. Roosevelt famously carried one. For Capone, it was a symbol of subtle power, not flashy, not intimidating at first glance, but dangerous when needed. Today, examples of the Colt 1908 survive as collector's items, and Capone's pistols himself are regarded as priceless pieces of criminal history.